God led me to Texas in the same kind of way, where it was like, I felt a lot of peace about it. It was kind of unexpected and never where I thought I would end up. It just feels right. And I'm excited to see this time around what God has for us back in Wisconsin, so. Here are my days before. Oh my gosh. Wow, it's always so freaking short. But here we are. I can see. Not gonna lie, I feel like a total mess right now. It's the end of the work day. As you saw, I got my bangs trimmed. They're very short. This happens every time though, but I do feel like they're just like a teeny bit too short, but we're moving on. We are moving to Wisconsin. I am so excited. AJ's so excited. It's a crazy, crazy thing. I honestly can't believe that we are able to talk about it because we actually officially decided that we were gonna move this time last year. So we waited a whole year until we like officially announced it. Our family and friends like basically all knew, like the people who knew, but it feels like extra crazy now that like the whole world knows. So we're really excited, but it is a lot, like moving from Texas to Wisconsin, and it wasn't necessarily an easy decision. We definitely had a lot to consider, a lot to keep in mind and to think about, especially for AJ who grew up in Texas. It's a lot. Mainly what I'm going to talk about is our reasons for moving, what our thought process was, and what we're looking forward to moving to Wisconsin. I do want to give you a little bit of a backstory in case you don't know. I grew up in Wisconsin. It was 4 years ago that I moved to Texas. So I moved to Texas right after college, found a job here. So I've been here for 4 years. I ended up meeting AJ down here. Like I had already been living in Texas for over a year when I met him, and then we got married, and now we're married, and now we're moving. Life is just a whirlwind. Like I don't even know. We have really wanted to buy a house. So when we were thinking of buying a house instead of renting, we were like, okay, so what does that look like? In Austin, the housing market is crazy. We would never buy a house in Austin because it's so competitive, expensive, like there's just no way. Plus that made us think like, okay, so if we're not buying a house in Austin, we'd go outside of Austin. And why would we go there? Like none of our friends are there, family's not there, like we'd just be out in the middle of nowhere in Texas, like for no reason kind of. When we were looking at houses in Wisconsin, they're definitely a lot cheaper. It's a lot more doable. You get lands, like we just had a lot more options in the Midwest for our budget, for our lifestyle. That was a huge thing for us. I'm really sick of renting. I want my own house, my own land. AJ does too. Like I'm sick of my money being thrown to rent. Yeah, Wisconsin just gives us that while also being close to my family, which is a perk for my family and for me, and you know, for AJ too. The sad part of it is obviously that we will be leaving AJ's family here, which is, I'll get into it, but it does make things difficult. That's why it's not an easy decision. But one of the things too was that we just don't want to live in a city anymore. Again, when we thought about where we'd live, what we'd be doing, especially to re-sign a lease, it's like, do we want to live here, like still in the city of Austin? Like it's changed a lot, and I've realized that, okay, because when I was growing up, I was a small town girl, like not close to really like any cities, or I would drive to the cities all the time. You know, it was like an hour away, hour and a half, so I guess it's not that far, and I loved it. I loved going to the cities, and I dreamed of living in them, but now that I've lived in one, I don't want to anymore. I love visiting them more than I do living in them day to day. I am just kind of over it. It was fun while it lasted. I think it's really fun when you're single, but when you're starting to think about a family and you want space to like grill out and have your own like privacy, and when I think of having kids, I think of having a yard, and I just don't want to live in a city anymore. Neither does AJ. It's not in any of our plans. And with Austin, AJ's mom and Pamela are moving to New Mexico, so we knew that no one would be in Austin other than, you know, our friends, but no family would be in Austin. And so we were like, well, there's really nothing keeping us in Austin. Like, even if we, you know, there just is nothing. So I feel like the country just like aligns with our lifestyle, our values. Like, we want to have a garden and maybe chickens eventually. Like, AJ likes shooting guns and all that stuff. So we probably won't have like a huge yard right away, but that is like in our plans eventually, hopefully, God willing. The next two is, one is for me and one is for AJ, kind of. I felt like Wisconsin was really good for AJ. When I saw him up there, I saw him thrive, and I saw a side of him that I felt like I didn't know existed. It felt like he just came alive. Like, he wasn't watching TV, he was outside, he was doing things, he was like adventurous. It brought out this like just sense of adventure that I hadn't seen in him before. And so I loved being with AJ in Wisconsin. It felt like he was more of himself. AJ loves the cold. He thrives in the cold weather. The hot weather in Texas keeps him inside. Like, he doesn't want to deal with the hot. AJ's very much into guns. You might know that, but he loves guns and hunting, I don't know, four-wheeling, like all of that stuff. Especially the place we're in now in Austin. The culture is different. Even just the South in general, there's a different culture in the South than there is in the Midwest. And I feel like for AJ, the Midwest culture is a lot more low-key, I guess. Whenever I thought about having a family, I couldn't imagine not having my mom close by or with me. And all of my family, like my brother, my sister, my dad, grandma, grandpa. I don't think I could do it. Like, and I hadn't really had to think about that until I got married, honestly. It wasn't that front of mind. And so whenever I thought about it, I was just like, I don't know how I'd be able to raise a family being over 1,000 miles away from my mom. That was a big factor for me. I just couldn't really get past that. Like, I love AJ's dad and his mom, and I love them, but obviously his mom will be in New Mexico, and his dad is up in the north part of Texas, where we wouldn't like most likely move to if we were to stay in Texas. So, and it's different when it's your mom, you know, and your family. So for me, at least, that was hard to picture, and I just don't know how I would do it. So those are a couple of the reasons why we ultimately decided. I think also too, as the world is getting crazier, we really just wanted to be more in the country overall. Like, we just wanted to be in a rural area in the country, have a house, something that we own, and that we can take care of and like invest in. Like I said, raise a family. I'm really excited, and I feel like overall this is the decision that is best for our family. And I think that's the hard thing too, is that like I feel bad because as much as it's exciting, I also feel bad because it can kind of come across like we're leaving people behind because they weren't like good enough, or, you know, especially like AJ's family or our friends, like, and that has nothing to do with being like the people here in Texas did anything wrong, like that they weren't good enough, that something, you know, anything like that. It's just that we had to make this decision for our family and for our future, and for a lot of reasons. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have like are dating someone, married to someone who is in different states, like you are from a different state or he's from a different state, but it is really hard, and it's a hard thing to navigate. And I think people who maybe aren't in it don't like understand like what that's like, to have to fly between families and pick one state or another, or, you know, it feels like it's like maybe a competition. But if you are in that position, I would say like the best thing was for both of us, like, okay, so when AJ and I got married, before we got married, we promised each other that we were signing up to live in one state or another for the rest of our lives. I knew that if I married AJ, I could be in Texas forever, and I was going to be okay with that. And I knew that that was a possibility, and AJ knew that there's a possibility that he could be in Wisconsin for the rest of his life. So we both said that and knew that going in. And so that was helpful. And another thing was, when we started talking about it, I made sure and didn't want AJ to feel like he was forced to, or that he was just going along with this for me, because it just ultimately, I mean, for a lot of reasons, it it would be really bad to do that. That was the last thing I wanted. I wanted it to come from AJ. I wanted us to be on the same team and then on the same like plan. And so that was something that I was like, I wanted it to come from him, and I was like making sure like, okay, like, do you want this? Like, is this, like, I didn't want to get my feelings like wrapped up in it for him. Yeah, AJ is on board and really excited. It's obviously still a huge move for him and a lot of things that he's having to just say goodbye to and lose. You know, there's a lot that we're leaving behind in Texas, and I hate that. I wish we could have the best of both worlds. Like, I wish we didn't have to leave anything, but he's overall excited for what's to come and what God has in store. Like I said, we prayed about this like last year, and continually, just that we would get clarity on the decision, and we've overall had a lot of peace. This is the best for our family, and we believe it's the best going forward. I can't remember if I said this or not, but we will be moving in June. So that's only like 6 months away, which is insane. I can't believe how soon that is. It'll be a shock even for me because, I don't know, 4 years is a long time to live somewhere. Overall, like I just like can't wait. And I'm glad that we did it the way we did. I think I wanted to almost move like just right away and just like rent something up there or something. But I'm glad we did it slowly and we could just like enjoy our time here and have our own like independence here in Texas, which I've really liked. And I feel like me and my mom have talked about this, where it feels like AJ and I have had a chance to grow together. And I've been really grateful for this time in Texas. I really overall like wouldn't change a thing. I love Texas. It brought me to AJ, and so I can't complain. But I'm really excited to bring AJ to Wisconsin. I think he's going to love it. If you're from Wisconsin, you know it's like I grew up kind of like not realizing how great it was. I think just because I don't know, whenever it's your home state, I feel like it's hard to see the like goodness of it until you move away and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to be home. And especially the seasons. That's just something always that I've missed ever since coming down, is the seasons, because the seasons in Texas are not good. They're awful. Like, it sucks. I'm really excited to have fall back, winter back, spring even, and a good Wisconsin summer. It's gonna be a heck of a year. 2023 is gonna be crazy. I'm excited to see what God is leading us to, you know, because I was just talking to AJ about this morning, is that God led me to Texas in the same kind of way, where it was like I felt a lot of peace about it. It was kind of unexpected and never where I thought I would end up, but here we are, you know. And Wisconsin is the same way for AJ. It just feels right, and I'm excited to see this time around what God has for us back in Wisconsin. So I don't know, I'm just excited. I'm excited. Like I said, it's hard to be excited because there is a lot of things that we're leaving behind, but overall, like, I am so excited. It's gonna be great. If you live up there, I can't wait to be back. I miss everyone from there, obviously family, but friends and just the whole community in the Midwest I love so much. I don't know what that's gonna look like, what's gonna happen, but we're definitely ready. So here's to saving for a house, and hopefully we find one. That's like the biggest prayer right now. So we'll be house hunting. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I can't believe that we'll have a house. Like, that's so weird. I don't even know. I can't wait. Okay, that is it for this video of the laundry chat. I will see you guys in the next video. Comment below any questions that you have about the move, about Wisconsin, Texas, moving to different states, anything like that. Comment below. I'd love to talk with you. Yeah, I'll see you very, very soon.